Hey, you know what's kind of rare? Me getting a review up out in time, but you know what's even more rare than that? A video game movie being kind of good. Detective Pikachu follows a young kid played by Justice Smith who used to want to be a Pokemon trainer but had that put all those dreams to side, but he finally finds himself coming back into the world of Pokemon when his father is mysteriously killed and left without a trail. So he teams up with Pikachu, voiced by Ryan Reynolds, in order to solve the case of his dad's murder. Pretty easy stuff for a video game movie like this. Getting the obvious straight out of the way, Ryan Reynolds absolutely carries this movie. He was pretty great. Upon seeing the first trailer and hearing about the marketing of this movie, I was like, I don't know what doesn't mesh right with me, but Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool's voice of being attached to Pikachu, that just doesn't seem right. Thankfully, I was proven wrong and he was easily the best part of this movie. He brings that snarky Ryan Reynolds type humor, but he also brings a lot of heart and depth to the character when he needs to. But of course, we're not here for that. We're here to see the Pokemon world in live action brought to us in real time on the big screen for the first time, because yeah, the last time I saw a Pokemon movie, it looked like this. So they obviously knew what they were doing. Bringing this in live action was a great way to bring old fans of the franchise with new fans to go see this movie, and it was done really well. The animation is just stunning for the Pokemon. All of them look very true to their actual models in-game in the anime and such, but it also looks realistic. It looks like they could actually exist within the real world, so I really like that touch. Hopefully going forward, video game movies will be able to do the same thing, but keep your fingers crossed. I'm looking straight at you, Sonic.
Meow?
There was also a plethora of nods and just like recognition with the Pokemon franchise in both the musical choices, the locations, and a lot of the Pokemon in the background. Because a lot of the Pokemon in the forefront and that had to do with the actual story are from the first generation, but a lot of the Pokemon that help out and you see in the background are from all the other generations, so every type of Pokemon gets its time in the limelight. I went to see this movie with 3 of my friends who were very hardcore Pokemon fans, so half of the fun, or most of the fun with this movie was just pointing out which Pokemon was in which scene and in the background and such, you know, that Who's That Pokemon game classic. Not only were there tons of Easter eggs, but the Pokemon were brought beautifully to the real world, and Ryan Reynolds was hilarious. This movie was a lot of fun in those regards. But of course it wasn't perfect, so here's a couple flaws I pointed out. The acting is very cringy, especially from the lead actor. Most of his line delivery is just super flat. You don't even know how he landed this role. Especially when he has to give a heartfelt, dramatic moment, you're like, this is laughable. This feels like a Nickelodeon movies film. He gets a love interest towards the beginning, middle of the movie, and they have no chemistry whatsoever, and a lot of the humor and jokes that pass between them just don't really land at all and are really awkward. So the acting is very sus throughout. The pacing is pretty bad. This movie is about 20-30 minutes too long. And I wish they would have focused much more on the Pokemon world, because that's the main novelty of this movie. Instead, most of the plot is focused on solving the mystery of the main kid's dad's murder, but that mystery is pretty obvious. I felt like it almost solved itself. Yes, I know this is a kids movie and kids aren't walking into this movie for a deep plot revolving a complex mystery, but I wish I would have was given more than I actually saw. Yeah, the acting's cringy, the plot is kind of obvious and falls apart on its own, and the mystery is really obvious. Overall, I really love this movie. Seeing Pokemon brought beautifully to the real world paired with Ryan Reynolds' humor and pretty good chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and the actual kid made this movie really enjoyable on a number of levels, so I'm gonna say Detective Pikachu was a pretty good time. I'm gonna give Detective Pikachu 3 out of 5 stars. Pretty short review this time around, but this movie was more or less what I expected. If you're a fan of the Pokemon franchise, you're definitely gonna get a kick out of this movie. Otherwise, if you want to just sit back and have a good time, this movie can do that too. Thanks for watching up to this point. I hope to get my thoughts out on Aladdin as soon as I actually, I don't know, see the movie. Otherwise, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. I am Pac. Thanks so much for hearing my perspective, and I'm out for now.